By now, you've been following several of our videos. Arrival of President Boakai here in Kakata, Margibi County, to join the rest of the world or the rest of Liberia, and of precisely the United Nations and several stakeholders in the UN sector to celebrate the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. And so, earlier, the authorities of Margibi County welcomed President Boakai, and the students there also did similar at the entry when President Boakai arrived this morning. So as you can see this morning, right behind me is the presidential motorcade of His Excellency President Boakai, arriving here at the event to attend the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. So thanks for watching us and keep following us. So my name is Anthony Williams, and I'll be bringing you this event live this morning here from from Kakata, Margibi County. So you're seeing the official vehicle of His Excellency President Boakai making his way to the event already. Alright, so ahead of us there, you're looking at the United Nations Resident Coordinator, Madam Christine Omotoni, and she will receive His Excellency President Boakai as he walks the red carpet to make his way to his seat in So folks, you just witnessed the arrival of President Boakai there to attend this event. President Boakai has just arrived, and the event will kickstart any moment from now.
Delegation and international organizations, as a private sector and civil society organizations, as of the local authority in Margibi, members of the traditional council, members of the clergy, members of the folk.
All right, folks, so kindly bear with us as we make some quick adjustment here quickly.
Today at the United Nations Day 2025 at UN Acta official celebration held at the Boakai, Washington Institute National Anthem. Sorry, the UN Anthem, the United Nations Anthem. Can we not have the UN National Anthem, please?
All right, folks, you just listened to both the United Nations anthem and that of the national anthem of the Republic of Liberia. So we'll now go back to the podium for the speeches now this morning. Are you online? We'll check it if my video gets some. Please.
Our vision remains alive in the work we do today. In the clinics in Kakata, in the community in Lofa County, and across every other counties in Liberia. Together, as we have gathered today, let us be reminded that there are great challenges that we have faced, including conflict, climate change. All of these demand a great collection of strength, unity, and compassion. Here in Liberia, this spirit of togetherness has been the cornerstone of our progress, especially in the country continuing to consolidate peace and sustainable development. We are especially proud to celebrate the global milestone right here in Kakata, Mangibi County, a county known for its vibrant youth, strong education tradition, and community spirit. Your participation today from schools, local authorities, and the community group demonstrates the heart of UN's mission, partnership with people. As we reflect on global unity, allow me to also highlight the achievements of one of our own, the Federation of the United Nations Staff Association in Liberia, FONSA, which continues to embody the principles of solidarity, welfare, and service among UN staff. This year, 2025, has been particularly remarkable one for the FONSA. First, FONSA successfully convened its General Assembly, during which we presented the fiscal and financial report, reinforcing transparency, accountability, and collective ownership in our operation. Second, in our ongoing effort to enhance staff welfare and convenience, FONSA has procured a 30-seater bus dedicated to staff shelter and transportation. This initiative is not just about mobility, it represents our shared commitment to safety, comfort, community, and of the United Nations. And finally, one of our proudest accomplishments as FONSA has been recognized by the Civil Servant Association FISCA in New York. This recognition places Liberia's UN Staff Association on the global stage, aligning our voices to thousands of UN staff around the world, advocating for fairness, dignity, and unity in the international civil service. Just as Liberia's recent election to the United Nations Security Council signifies the nation's growing voice and leadership in global affairs, FONSA recognition in FISCA marks a parallel step forward, a reaffirmation that contributes to UN staff in Liberia and value and respect internationally. So as we celebrate the 80th anniversary of the United Nations, let us remember that together, we all in our offices, community, and country alike can do what is required of us, whether through humanitarian services, advocacy, and a simple act of kindness. Each of us contributes to the UN legacy of peace and progress. Let us continue to work together hand in hand, the United Nations, the government of Liberia, our development partners, and the people of Mangini to build a future that truly reflects our shared value, a world that is peaceful, just, and united in purpose. On behalf of the Federation of the United Nations Staff Association, as the President, I extend our heartfelt appreciation to all of you, our colleagues, partners, and friends for joining us in this celebration. Together, we honor the past. Together, we celebrate the present and commit ourselves to building a stronger, better, and more united future. Big thank you to the United Nations. I want to say God bless the Republic of Liberia. God bless us all, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I will implore each and everyone coming up here, please, to observe the time because we're slightly behind time. At this point, we'll go for the hoisting of the UN flag, and this will be done by Ms. Doris Nelson of the UNDS.
Well, at this point in time, they said we should go for the hosting of the UN flag. But unfortunately, the flag has already been hosted, so I guess we'll go strictly to the event. Probably the MC doesn't know that the flag has already been hosted, from what it looks
Ms.
like.
Doris Nelson, can you please come up for the hoisting of the flag, please?
They will probably bring it down and re-host it. Yeah. See, one unique thing about the term hosting of the flag, most people will say hosting, but that's not the actual term. It's not like the HOST necessarily. Yeah, it's learned that from veteran Liberian journalist Emmanuel Kippard, prolific commentator he is. All right, the flag has been brought down. It will be re-hosted. So let's give it a look from this.
fini d'accord avec un homme. Alors, pour le mal, mais je peux dire tout le monde.
Okay. So that was the hosting.
Thank you very, very much. We now have a statement by the Superintendent of Margibi County, Honorable O.J. Morris. Sir, you're welcome.
Margibi, if you are prepared for this, just say yay! If you are ready for this day, say happy birthday, happy anniversary to you, you and family. Thank you. Put your hands together. Put your hands together. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Excellency, Ambassador Joseph Boakai Senior, Honorable Jeremiah Panko, who is not here, Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, the UN family and delegations who are here to celebrate this 80th anniversary, United Nations Resident Coordinator to Liberia, who is present here, the one UN coordinating team, Liberia chapter ranking for peace and security, social and economic development, as well as protection of human rights. Honorable Speaker, who is not here, Honorable Senator Pro Tempore of the Liberia Senate, and the Deputy Speaker, the Margibi Legislative Caucus, the Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court of Liberia, Ministers and Directors, headed by Honorable Cyril Beslo Yanti, Dean of the Cabinet of the Republic of Liberia, chiefs and traditional leaders, women, youth, and student communities, auspicious experts, honor the canopy of the one UN who are contributing towards the peace and development of our beloved country, Liberia. Let me seize this medium to appreciate you all for your rising turn up in order to demonstrate your acceptance to have this day being celebrated here in Liberia, specifically in Kakata City, Margibi County. As this day marks a significant milestone in the history of our country, Kakata remains a trusted city. A city that appreciates the government of the Republic of Liberia to His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Boakai Senior, based on the numerous development that the President is undertaking in this county. In rating our city, which is the host city, Kakata, we think Kakata is first among equal. That's why we were considered to host this UN Day.
Liberia have a symbol of trust and a history of a foundational pillars among 50 founding members across all continents, with her emergence historical signing of the UN Charter in June 26, 1945, and officially ratified on November 2, 1945. Between these values and trust repose in us as a people and a sovereign state, we once again recognize the United Nations for supporting its 80th anniversary celebration financially, morally, and physically, ranging from all UN, one coordinating agency designated to buttressing Liberia's development agenda. Again, we are grateful to the Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Antonio Guterres, for his continuous support and partnership with Liberia since 8 years ago. We welcome and endorse the proposal of our government, headed by former President William V. Statement, to help create a strong, more effective international organization for peace and cooperation. Liberia again played a pivotal role in joining other funding with democratic records from the continent of Africa, voting her in 1962 as one among non-permanent members to the Security Council in order to cultivate peace and security across Africa and the globe. In our quest to maintain her status, Liberia again honored this regime of His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Boakai Sr. We proved her commitment by being elected on June 3, 2025, overwhelmingly with 181 out of 187 votes cast by the UN member states in serving said position, the non-permanent seat at the UN General Assembly. Moving forward, we might join our aging and emerging Liberian citizens to extend gratitude to the UN for her continuous support to Liberia peacekeeping in supervising the election of 1997, as it reflected a pragmatic choice by war-weary Liberians to prioritize stability over justice, giving former President Taylor's role in the war atrocities, a reflection of 1999 to 2003 that led to the establishment of the UN Security Council Resolution of 1509 on September of 2003. This resolution supported the implementation of ceasefire agreement, protect civilians and assist in disarmament and reintegrations of combatants, with over 1,000 military personnel, police and civilians under the UN support to Liberia. We are again grateful to the United Nations from all perspectives. After 20 years back, under the canopy of the UN, comprised of UNDP, USAID, UNICEF, UNESCO, WFP, UNINO, UNHCR, UN Women, and many more humanitarian organizations. We are again steadfast to hold gratitude for the UN through her intervention in some of our devastated situations in Liberia, such as the global epidemics of Ebola in 2014 and the COVID-19 in 2019. This relief came through humanitarian aid, food and medical supplies, scholarship cash and material donation, etc. Relating to climate change, let me again extend gratitude to the country coordinator of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, for coordinating, collaborating with Magidi County Authority in coordinating and combating climate hazard across Kakata City and Magidi County for the past 1 year upon our appointment to serve in this capacity. The The elections of 2011 considered controversies, including low voters turnout in the runoff, seen as a step towards stability after the Second Civil War was again supported by the UN through its implementing Armed Court Arm Bill. Peacekeeper came to Liberia. Liberia was once again stable and peaceful through the intervention of UN. In 2017, as a reflection of December 26, was a historic milestone marking Liberia's first fully democratic transitions in 74 years. With mutual trust and partnership between Liberia and the UN over the years through the above-mentioned institutional agencies, consistent and persistent intervention remain paramount to our economic growth, increase in budget, and infrastructure development exclusively. With our global team, building our future together, which is being celebrated on this 80th anniversary of UN, we stand with the UN family as we demonstrate our cultural heritage by welcoming the sense of togetherness and allowing us with a platform to voice our stance on international issues and oppose things that will take us back in Africa. As a people and a sovereign state, let us continue to reflect our thought for this year. One UN, one future. Somebody say one UN, one future. One UN, one future. 80 years of partnership and progress. This team share a fair look of citizens' aspiration to contribute towards our growing society, specifically for Margibi County and Margibi as well. Speak to each and every citizen, residents who acknowledge the fact by demonstrating our willingness to democratically exercise our freedom for the emerging generations after us by portraying the norms and standards for one vision, one orientation, and one culture and sense of belonging. Mr. President, UN Special Representative President, international and national partners, our dear legislative caucus, and we further interest you to know that the government has initiated and revamped the National Cadet Program for Youth Empowerment with 15 cadets assigned inland ministries and agencies to be incorporated as Civil Servant in Kakata City, Margibi County. The commemorations of National Statutory Institution to launch the constructions of the Margibi Youth Secretariat, the advocacies of decentralizations of land ministries for rural dwellers' consumption, the pending launch of Margibi Youth International Scholarship Draft to be supported by the Margibi Legislative Caucus and statutory concession companies based in Margibi County is at hand in Margibi. Moreover, let me seize another moment to recognize the existence and the role of the media amplifying voices in the corrections of our wrong paths and in many other ways we intend to implement and coordinate with our citizens directly and indirectly. Again, your role included promoting democratic values and ethics, professionalism and passion, and above all a sense of belongingness. The truth, we again open our doors for dialogues and alternative as we gear towards preparing for peace. Mr. President, UN representative, international partners, we are pleased to give a say to you. Margibi and Kakata City is a place of hospitality. I call on all citizens in Liberia to join me support the spirit of unity and progress, firstly through reconciliation, empathy, resolution for progress, and the love for oneness and love for country. I further pledge with you in the conscience to embrace the spirit of unity and progress through development priorities, love in the sense of recognizing the origins of our ancestors, as well as their struggling information that led to us to where we are today. To the UN family and our foreign partners in progress, let me, on behalf of our country and our country life, on behalf of our country, my given our country Liberia, headed by His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Boakai, reaffirm to the United Nations our government's commitment to working with you and other partners that have been serving as supporting arms to the growth and development of our country. It is our hope to allow the continuity of these collaborations that will foster development under this regime. We as people of Maigidi and Liberia are about this time expressing our gratitude as beacon of hope to light and strengthen our existing partnership in our quest to support the President's arrest agenda for inclusive development. Finally, I want to in an exclusive manner appreciate the UN family, international and national stakeholders. Thank you for your collaboration. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all you have done for our country. We are glad, Margibi is glad, and we say UN happy 80th anniversary. Thank you all.
That was a special statement from the superintendent there, encouraging peace and stability, unity, of course, and also congratulating the United Nations on their 80th anniversary.
Cameraman, please show us more.
By way of introduction, my name is student Beatrice Vijara of the CMAC Preparatory College, and I am from in the 6th grade class. His Excellency President Joseph Boakai, His Excellency Regional and Country Director of the United Nations, President UN, the Legislative Caucus, local leadership of Makibi County, traditional leaders, members of the 4th Estate, student bodies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. To all beautiful personalities present here, today is United Nations Day, which is celebrated every year all around the world at about this time and date. The United Nations was officially established October 24, 1945. On this day, the UN Charter was ratified by the majority of signatories, including some five permanent members of the Security Council, which Liberia was and is part of. The day was first celebrated in 1948 with many countries. The United Nations is an international organization consisting of over 193 member states. It is a global body that aims to promote peace, security, and cooperation among its member countries, which Liberia is not exceptional. In recent years ago, the United Nations mission in Liberia was deployed in Liberia for a peacekeeping mission that is over 100,000 combatants and 3 securities and assisted in restructuring the military. Honor infrastructure. The United Nations help rebuild critical Under infrastructure, the United Nations help rebuild critical infrastructure such as constructing bridges that improve transportation and access to education for many Liberians. Under rule of law and good governance, the United Nations UN efforts have focused on supporting the implementation of community policing policies and building national human rights monitoring capacity. The United Nations Cooperation Framework of recent for 2026 to 2030 focuses on economic transformation, rule of law, good governance, and human capital development align with national priorities. Liberia is ratified of recent election to a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council for 2026 to 2027. We signifies a new chapter in its global engagement. Notwithstanding, the United Nations continues to play a vital role in addressing global challenges and promoting a more peaceful, equitable world. The recent war in Gaza, Israel, and other areas. As we gather here to celebrate this magnificent event, I want us to reflect on the things that the United Nations have done for us as Liberians. As we also anticipate more from this global body. Happy United Nations Day and thank you all.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause, please. Thank you very much. We know the fight against drugs is a serious matter and also a national concern, and the government has actually targeted to fight. Efforts being made by young people have been recognized. We now have testimonies and recognition of young ambassadors of change. In total, there should be 15, but 2 will come up to speak, and they will be certificated by His Excellency, I understand. And then the other ones too will receive certificates for photo shoot. Please welcome our young ambassadors with their testimonies and recognition. Where are you? Can the other ones please come and line up here so that once they are done, it's easier to get to you, please. The others, can you please come up here and just line up? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Terry Webo. My thanks and appreciation goes to His Excellency Joseph Boakai and to the government of Liberia, to be precise, the Ministry of Youth and Sports, Ministry of Health, and the Mother of Light. These people have significantly worked towards our change. But today, we are not just the change, but we are the people who are also bringing impact in other youth lives. To be precise, standing here today, it was not easy because my past life, if you go back and look, or else unrobber, destroying myself through the use of substance, killing innocent people for money. But today, I'm standing here. I have also joined the President of the Republic of Liberia to wage a war against drugs. Because drugs have destroyed our lives. They are killed innocent people that cannot be replaced. Seeing myself today among beautiful people, going places, the UNFPA, through the TOT training, that have also impacted my life to help other youth today. I'm grateful to One UN today to be part of them and to celebrate with them. Thanks.
Greetings to all. His Excellency President Joseph Yuma Boakai, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. By the way of introduction, my name is Kakata. I am an integrated youth of Mother of Life Rehab located in Jamon County. My deepest and sincere appreciation goes to His Excellency President Joseph Yuma Boakai, the government of Liberia, the entire UN body, well wishers, ladies and gentlemen. Shortly, I will explain the effect of drugs. Drugs, as we all know, is a very harmful substance. Drugs affect your thoughts and action, more especially if you become chronic into it. Ladies and gentlemen, drugs is very harmful for our society. I got involved with substance use during the year 2013. Through the help and support of President Joseph Yuma Boakai, the entire UN body, Ministry of Health, today I am who I am personally. Ladies and gentlemen, I have decided to make a change to follow my education and to make Mama Liberia proud. As we all know, drugs is not good for our society. I advise that all youth, you should take the step of living a sober life, make Mama Liberia proud, improve your status, and encourage yourself that you can be that change that you deserve to be. Ladies and gentlemen, I am taking down. Thank you.
You are the voice of the ambassador. Say no to drugs. Say no to drugs. That is a challenge that has been thrown out. I'd like to call up. Right?
Your Excellency, good morning. Your Excellency, and National Coordinator of the One UN family, good morning. The Dean and the members of the Cabinet here, good morning. The Doyen and members of the Diplomatic Corps, good morning. I see members of the security forces here, good morning. I also see the principal of BWI here, good morning. The BWI family, our traditional leaders, students, members of the press, distinguished ambassadors of change, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellency, there are dozens of these young people who have gone through the rehabilitation process that was sponsored by you. Before last year, you attended the graduation. Today, in collaboration with the UN, we showcase just some of them. These are not just the number. They are more than this. They are representing their colleagues because everyone could not come there. But these are people, young men and women who are fully recovered. Fully recovered. And went through all of our programs, they are fully recovered. Some of them are employed and working now with the very service providers. Some of them have gone back to school. One of them is now a senior student at the UMU, United Methodist University. And a good number of them are also making use of the toolkits that were provided them doing their businesses. Today, I would like to invite His Excellency to be joined by the resident representative of the UN and the Minister of Education, the Dean, to please come and certificate these President Joseph Boakai ambassadors of change. I will present the certificate to the resident coordinator who will forward their name, and they will come and they will be presented this certificate by His Excellency.
Nobody must stand up. Everybody must go down. Everybody go down. If you want to be here, go down.
Ruben Koike.
No, but any done. Can't do it well, So folks, the ambassadors of change now receiving certificates from His Excellency President Boakai and the UN Resident Coordinator. These are young Liberians who have gone through rehabilitation through the Ministry of Youth and Sports and several other entities. And now receiving certificates, fully recovered, fully transformed and transitioned to a whole different life. You heard their testimonials. Several of them have already received their certificates. Quite a few of them. Up to 13 of them being certificated. Proudly receiving certificates from President Boakai. In fact, if you did listen to the Youth and Sports Minister, he said they are now known or called the President Joseph Boakai Ambassadors of Change. That is the young man who gave a very touching testimonial about his past life and being transformed to a better person, putting drug behind them and fortune for a better life. And of course, if you did listen to the previous lady who gave her testimonials mentioning how she has now transformed, wishing for a better Liberia, of course. Right, so the certification has concluded.
The rest will get theirs.
All right, so we'll go back to the podium.
A round of applause.
We'll now rejoin MC Eva Flomo, veteran Liberian journalist.
And on behalf of the diplomatic corps, we'll invite the head of the UN delegation in Liberia, Her Excellency Dr. Dupree.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Nona Dupree, European Union Ambassador to Liberia, standing here in front of you to deliver special remarks on behalf of His Excellency Dengera Agustin Gang, Ambassador of the Republic of Cameroon, and Doyen of the Diplomatic Corps Liberia. Your Excellency, Joseph Boakai, President of the Republic of Liberia, honorable members of the legislature, Your Excellency, Sarah Besselonanti, Dean of the Cabinet and members of government, Your Excellency, Christine Umutoni, United Nations Resident Coordinator in Liberia, Honorable O.J. Morris, Superintendent of Margibi County and our kind host, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, high representatives of international organizations, religious and traditional leaders and elders, to take the floor on behalf of the Diplomatic Corps and to do so in a historic venue. Indeed, the name Booker T. Washington transports symbolism, grandeur, and hope for those struggling for emancipation and socioeconomic self-uplifting. That is why I believe that most of us here present today to celebrate the United Nations at Haiti would be immensely thankful that the pioneering spirit of Booker Washington has inspired Liberia to memorialize such a great vocational educator and people leader by setting up in Kakata this Booker Washington Institute that propounds self-assertion, self-development, and self-empowerment for Liberia and beyond. Above all, we appreciate the fact that the resident coordinator of the United Nations and the Liberian authorities also chose to bring the UN to the youth of BWI today. I congratulate the United Nations organization, in reality our member countries, and UN Secretary General Guterres through you, Madam Resident Coordinator, on this 80th anniversary of the birth of the UN in San Francisco in October 1945. We reaffirm the ideals enshrined in the United Nations Charter, the result of unprecedented multilateral diplomatic consensus. We fully adhere to the themes appropriately selected for today's anniversary celebrations, viewing our future together, and at national level, one Liberia, one UN, one future, 80 years of partnership and progress. Indeed, a few marked jerks and starts, but no arrests on the long path from 1945 to 2025 may have incited occasional pessimism or led us down to downplay the countless marvelous successes that can be chalked to the credit column of the UN. These positive stretches from global socioeconomic progress, political freedom, and national emancipation to human rights, peace maintenance, environmental awareness, and climate sustainability. For these good reasons, we can only express gratitude to the 51 countries, amongst which were Liberia, Egypt, Ethiopia, and South Africa, as it then was from Africa, who created this unique global organization. And thus, the general visions of a new post-war world were born. A post-war world totally abhorrent of territorial aggrandizement, of territorial changes against the people's wishes. In other words, a world in favor of new national self-determination, of the restoration of self-government to those deprived of it, and of the disarmament of aggressor states. Today, we proudly celebrate a United Nations organization that has grown territorially from 51 original founding members to a hefty 193 members, with 54 from the African continent. Many of our countries owe the modern version of their sovereignty to the ideals inscribed in the bilateral declaration by United Nations and subsequently the more multilateral and hitherto more representative United Nations Charter of 1945, which it inspired when the outcome of the Second World War with more global certainty and a new power structure was more evident. Today, indeed, the global state configuration has greatly changed. The UN will only be more adequately responsive if its member states acknowledge the new realities on the ground in numbers, power, and economic clout. Maybe in some domains, the UN has overreached itself and overestimated its potentials. But in some other areas, it has undershot its potential. These are the subjects for humble review and fair reform, for which we recognize and applaud the efforts of Secretary General Guterres, which have become even more urgent in recent times. We are confident that with Liberia soon proudly taking its well-earned UN Security Council seat, freed of its government's single-minded, confident, and sustained diplomatic efforts in recent years, one more voice on the side of mutual respect and balanced multilateralism has been co-opted to our global organization. Liberia comes on board at a time of its renewed commitment to internal peace. This is evidenced by its two-pronged engagement in favor of an adaptable war and economic transport and a sociologically appropriate palaverhood, vector of a sustained, healthy, post-Civil War reconciliation. The Booker T. Washington spirit of self-development and the 80th anniversary theme of equitable cross-cultural cooperation live on in the likes of President Boakai, when while receiving 5 new colleagues into our diplomatic corps on 21st October 2025, he says, Liberia stands ready to work with your respective governments to promote shared prosperity, peace, and a fairer world order. We see diplomacy as a tool for progress and cooperation, not competition, and we welcome every partnership that improves the lives of our people. As a wish for the UN family, while we look with optimism to the road towards the centenary, I need not go further than the above wise words from Liberia, a founding member and authoritative voice of the United Nations. I thank you on behalf of Bengela Agustin Dang, Ambassador of Cameroon, Doyen of the Diplomatic Corps, Liberia.
Thank you very much. We have reached another critical point with the reading of the UN Secretary General's message, especially by Ms. Christine Mutoni, United Nations Resident Coordinator in Liberia. And after that, she'll be doing the recognition as UN founding member, recognizing Liberia as UN founding member and celebrating election to the United Nations Security Council.
Your Excellency Joseph Numa Boakai, the President of the Republic of Liberia, the Dean of Cabinet, Onyati, and ministers present, and other senior government officials, members of the legislature, the security, representatives of the Magibi County, traditional leaders, the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, represented here by the EU Ambassador, and members of the Diplomatic Corps, and representatives of international organizations, civil society organization, private sector, the UN family, and here we are proud to have the Assistant Secretary General advocating for victims. Welcome to Liberia. The heads of agencies, UN colleagues, staff, the chairman of the Staff Association, students and young people who are our present and the future members of the
All right, sounds being worked on, but you're having the UN resident coordinator there making statement, and she will be giving special recognition to Liberia for its selection on the UN Security Council, and also at the same time recognizing Liberia as a founding member of the United Nations here at this 80th anniversary celebration of the UN here in Kakata, Magibi. Of course, her name is Madame Christian Omotoni. Earlier, you listened to Her Excellency Madame Nona Dupris.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and everyone present here, it's an honor to stand before you today as we celebrate the 80th anniversary of the United Nations on this day, the 24th of October 2025 in Magibi County. And this year's celebration events have been co-created and organized in collaboration with the government of Liberia, led by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The current leadership of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in the name of Minister Saranyati, reminded us when we were doing the preparation that UN Day is not about the UN alone, but it's about the countries that make the UN. We heeded the call, and together with government, we decided to bring this celebration again closer to the people. We always do these celebrations in Monrovia, but we decided to come to Magibi, particularly to a school, the BWI, because whatever we are doing is all about the people, especially the young ones. So we gather today to applaud Liberians for maintaining the hard-won peace and their commitment to developing the country and to reflect on the work of the United Nations globally, but also in Liberia. So celebrating the 80th anniversary of the United Nations is indeed about countries, member states who make the UN, and the people who make it what it is. It's already been mentioned, Liberia is the founding member of the UN, has walked a remarkable journey from conflict to peace, from recovery to leadership on the global stage. But at this moment, allow me, as the representative of the Secretary General in this country, and as the resident coordinator of the UN Family System here, to quote my boss's message, the message of the UN Secretary General, and he says, for today, 24th October 2025, we, the people of the United Nations, these are not just opening words of the UN Charter. They define who we are. The United Nations is more than an institution. It is a living promise, spanning borders, bridging continents, and inspiring generations. For 80 years, we have worked to forge peace, tackle poverty, hunger, advance human rights, and build a more sustainable world together. We look ahead. As we look ahead, we confront challenges of staggering scale, escalating conflict, climate chaos, runaway technology, and threats to the very fabric of our institution. This is no time for timidity or retreat. Now, more than ever, the world must recommit to solving problems. No nation can solve it alone. That's why we need the United Nations. On this day, let's stand together and fulfill the extraordinary promise of the United Nations. Let's show the world what is possible when we, the people, choose to act as one. End of quote. And before I take my seat, allow me to say just a few words from my reflection, because it's already mentioned that this year's theme is building our future together. and Liberia chose the theme One Liberia, One UN, One Future, 80 Years of Partnership and Progress. So we really want to observe that Liberia's journey with the United Nations is deeply rooted in history. As one of the founding members in 1945, Liberia helped shape the principles of peace, human rights, multilateral cooperation that remain at the heart of the Charter. Today, by securing a seat at the Security Council, Liberia reaffirms its commitment to those ideals and takes on a responsibility that resonates far beyond its borders. Liberia's election to the Security Council is more than a diplomatic victory. It is a profound statement of trust and respect from the international community. Yes. In his own words, President Boakai stated that the label reads Liberia, but the seed belongs to Africa. This was what he said in the General Assembly. So we are confident that Liberia on the global stage is a strong voice advocating for peace, security, and sustainable development, not only for Africa, but for the entire world. As the United Nations turns 80, His Excellency President Joseph Boakai again reminded the General Assembly that reversal of multilateralism is not an option for a just and peaceful world. From the shadows of conflict to the light of peace and the victory, Liberia has walked a path that inspires nations everywhere. This wisdom will now guide global decisions on peace and security. We have learned from the collective power of Liberian women. In fact, we are proud that Liberia offered us the first African woman president, and through these concerted efforts, we learn a lot from when the women are part of a development journey. We heard that they broke at the peace, they have supported the rebuilding of the nation, and as they continue to contribute to national development efforts, we take an example from them. The UN family in Liberia is committed to support in any way possible to accompany Liberia in the journey of development. And just a little bit to say that for the UN and the work of the UN in Liberia, the exhibition started at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and is still ongoing. We had a health week and mobile clinics where we had screening of eyes, breast cancer, and others, but we also had a healthy walk. We had climate action through cleaning up and planting trees. We also had sports and games, although the government really beat us in football. Yeah, then we'll have a gender dialogue, and we'll continue to have cultural exhibition, all of it culminating in this big celebration of UN Day. Just to mention that last year we launched the UN Hub in Zedru, and today they are also celebrating there with the people at the hub. So these activities have reached thousands across the country, raising awareness, building solidarity, and celebrating our shared journey. We thank the government, led by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the country's, the county leadership here in Magibi, the UN family, the communities, the students, the children, everybody who have made this a success. Just quickly to say that our partnership is going. We had a previous cooperation framework. I won't go into the details of what we did, but all in the social sector, in education, economic development, in health, gender equality, rule of law, governance, and so on. And we will be doing a symbolic launch today of our new cooperation framework, which will align exactly with the arrest agenda for inclusive development. We shall focus on human capital development, good governance, rule of law, as well as economic transformation and climate action. So, as the UN reform advances, we require more efficiency. Together we are moving from isolated projects to joint programs, from traditional aid to innovative financing as we seek to work together to deliver results. So we know that the challenges continue, but though we see a lot of work on economic vulnerability, youth empowerment, climate threats, and governance gaps, these are not obstacles. They are opportunities for deeper collaboration, innovation, and trust. So Liberia's story is that of a nation that believes in peace, fought for peace, and now champions peace at the world stage. Let's continue to support this action. We acknowledge the challenges, but we know that the UN and all the member states will still have a lot of relevance. So the UN reforms initiatives is our bold response, making the UN more agile, efficient, and accountable. So we seek member states to fulfill their obligations, whether financial or otherwise, to close all the funding gaps. We continue to urge for support and for all the people of the world to continue working as we started for the Charter. And we continue to make sure that we make the lives of the people better. So as the UN turns 80, let us renew our pledge to the Charter's timeless vision, practice tolerance, live together in peace with one another as good neighbors. And congratulations to Liberia again. Congratulations to all of us who believe in the power of unity and multilateralism. Let us continue to work as one for the Liberia we believe in and the world we share. Thank you. Happy United Nations Day. Happy 80th anniversary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. You have to wait, Your Excellency. You have to still come again because it's about time for recognizing Liberia as UN founding member and celebrating election to the United Nations Security Council. Heads of UN agencies, please rise and stand with Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, this plaque is presented to the Republic, honoring her as a founding member of the United Nations and the country's election to a non-permanent seat at the UN Security Council 2026-2027. Thank you for the long-standing partnership on this UN Day, 20th October 2025, and at the anniversary of UN at 80. Thank you.
Funny? I want you to get out my picture. Okay.
Thank you very much, and a round of applause, please. We will now have a special message from the Governor of Liberia by the Honorable Sarah Mesloyanti, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Liberia.
They are travel and level. The session for travel.
Your Excellency, President Joseph Yuma Boakai, President of the Republic of Liberia, the ministers and members of the cabinet present, Christine Motoni, Resident Coordinator of the United Nations in Liberia and the UN family, the Doyen Diplomatic Corps members present. Please allow me to stand on existing protocols. It is with great pride and profound respect that I stand before you today as we mark the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. This commemoration provides us with the opportunity not only to reflect on the UN's achievements, but also to reaffirm Liberia's unwavering commitment to peace and security and human rights that the UN represents. As a founding member of the United Nations, Liberia has been a strong advocate for global cooperation. We take pride in our country's deep-rooted history with the UN, which has been instrumental in the